September 10th, 2025. Welcome to the New WS El Salvador SB podcast, a space for conversation and reflection where we explore current topics from El Salvador and the world together with a fluid and easy to understand intellectual curiosity. Find us for free on YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, or on your favorite platform. You can find us on PayPal. The username is in the description of this podcast. Remember, your contributions help pay the bills so we can provide content. We are New WS El Salvador SV. You can also find us in Spanish under the name Noticias El Salvador SV. Follow us, share, and comment.
Hello, and welcome to The Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a real deep dive into what's happening in El Salvador right now. We'll be looking at everything from, daily life and how the government's running to some big economic moves and what's making headlines internationally.
Yeah, it's quite a mix. We've gone through a lot of recent reports, and we're going to try and pull out the key insights, basically give you a good sense of what's going on, and maybe more importantly, why it matters. Exactly. We've got stories on, how hard it is to start a business, some major building projects, and also some quite serious human interest stuff. So grab a coffee, maybe? You're about to get plugged in? Okay, let's start by trying to unpack this whole government efficiency angle, especially for businesses. If you're looking to set up a business in El Salvador, it sounds like quite the marathon. We're talking about something like 790 hours estimated to get through it all.
790 hours.
Navigating 52 different procedures.
It's 52.
Across 13 different institutions. Wow, that's a lot.
It really is. And there's an annual cost, too, right? Around $513 just for maintenance.
That's right, $513 a year.
What's fascinating, or maybe concerning, is just the sheer scale. It's not a few forms. It points to a really complex bureaucracy, doesn't it? And you have to wonder, how does this actually impact local innovation? Or just the basic ease of doing business?
Yeah, good question. But it's not just businesses dealing with the government, right? We're also seeing a big jump in services for citizens. Like the number of Salvadoran birth certificates processed through Simple SV apparently doubled. Over 84,000 in just 1 year, plus more than 193,000 driving licenses issued by August this year.
Those are definitely big numbers. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, like the RNPN, the National Registry people, they're getting ready for huge renewals of the DUI, the National ID card, starting in December.
Right.
And they're even planning these jornadas, these outreach events, in Canada and the U.S. for Salvadorans living abroad.
Interesting. Engaging the diaspora.
Exactly. It shows a clear focus on sort of formalizing citizenship and keeping that connection strong with expats, which is, crucial for a country with so many people living overseas. Okay,
now shifting gears a bit, and this is, it sounds pretty concerning. There are reports coming out about significant chaos, maybe disorder, around patient transfers at the hospital Rosales. Yeah, it seems like patients and staff are both facing a lot of confusion, not getting clear information. One report mentioned patients just being given a phone number.
Just a phone number.
To call later to sort out future appointments. And people saying things like, we came for our consultation and they just wouldn't see us.
Wow, that really highlights the logistical nightmare, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the communication breakdown during these huge public health changes. The human side of it.
Yeah.
Families worried about their loved ones. It really brings home the impact these big shifts can have on everyday people.
Definitely. And still on public services, there's also news about planned water cuts. Looks like areas like Cuscatán Shingo, parts of San Salvador Sur, Usulután. They're facing suspensions this weekend.
For repairs, I assume.
Yeah, necessary valve repairs. Essential work, no doubt, but definitely disruptive for the residents there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the economy. On a maybe more positive note, tourism seems to be a real driver. There's news that El Salvador and Brazil are opening up their skies for air transport.
The Open Skies Agreement. That's a big deal.
Yeah, seems significant for international connections, trade, tourism, obviously.
It is. And you could see how this sort of tourism boom is actually having real effects.
Right.
Like, look at the ground transport companies.
Yeah.
Autobuses Cristobal Colon, for example. They're seeing growth, apparently recovering market share they lost after the pandemic hit.
So a ripple effect.
Exactly. It suggests the benefits are spreading out through the wider economy, which is what you want to see.
And the government's clearly pushing this. The Minister of Tourism was quoted emphasizing protecting our wave.
Yes, the surfing connection.
Calling it a most precious resource. directly tying those natural assets to the economic plan. And, national pride, too.
It's a smart strategy linking nature and economy.
And beyond tourism, it seems like El Salvador is still seen as attractive for foreign investment. The approval of that geothermal energy law seems key here.
Definitely. That's aimed squarely at diversifying the energy sources, right?
Yeah.
And pulling in more capital for that sector.
Yeah. Trying to rely less on imports, maybe?
Precisely. It suggests a strategic push towards modernizing infrastructure, energy, making things more sustainable. Although, it's worth noting, you also hear calls from parties like ARENA and Vimos.
Right, the opposition.
Saying the 2026 budget needs to be presented without more debt. They're urging the government to tighten the belt.
So that classic balancing act, investing for the future versus managing the national debt right now.
Exactly that. It's always a tension.
Now, down to the really granular level of the economy, things people feel directly, like the price of beans. The quintal hit its highest price back in June, $125.
Wow, $125. That's a staple food.
Absolutely. A direct hit on household budgets. Really impacts food security for a lot of families.
Yeah, it raises serious questions about the food supply chain, inflation, especially for essentials. And then you look internationally, there's one study predicting maybe a $30 million drop in remittances from the U.S. in 2026.
Oh, why is that?
Because of a proposed 1% tax over there. And, remittances are so important for many Salvadoran families.
A lifeline, really.
Absolutely. So any drop like that could have really significant consequences on the ground.
September 10th, 2025. Welcome to the NUWS El Salvador SV podcast, a space for conversation and reflection, where we explore current topics from El Salvador and the world together with a fluid and easy-to-understand intellectual curiosity. Find us for free on YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, or on your favorite platform. You can find us on PayPal. The username is in the description of this podcast. Remember, your contributions help pay the bills so we can provide content. We are NUWS El Salvador SV. You can also find us in Spanish under the name Noticias El Salvador SV. Follow us, share, and comment.
Okay, let's turn to security now. It's always a major topic for El Salvador. The reports we're seeing definitely reflect the ongoing efforts and, well, the results too. President Bukele was quoted saying criminals will face the consequences of their actions on Earth. Pretty strong words. Very direct. And you see that backed up in the news flow, right? Consistent reports of captures, convictions. We saw news about arrests for homicides in Ahuachapán. MS gang members getting 50 years for extortion.
50 years?
Yeah. Another extortionist getting 15 years. It really paints a picture of a very active, very visible campaign against crime.
And there's that statistic mentioned too. 1,000 days without homicides.
Yes, some sources are highlighting that as a historic achievement. If that holds, it's a remarkable turnaround in public safety.
Definitely changes the daily reality for people.
Immensely.
But there's also international attention, isn't there, on the methods?
There is.
Yeah.
We've seen reports about alerts being issued over extensions to detentions under the state of exception and calls to free people believed to be innocent. So it's complex. There's definitely a debate around these security measures.
Balancing security with rights, yeah. That ongoing tension. And beyond the big security headlines, there's just everyday life stuff happening. Multiple traffic accidents reported in San Salvador.
Road safety is still an issue.
Yeah. And sadly, a biker died after a crash on the road to Costa del Sol.
Tragic.
And then some stranger things, like that driver caught on video. Apparently, urinating while driving and swerving all over Alameda Juan Pablo II.
Oh my goodness. Really?
Apparently.
Well, I suppose these everyday incidents, from serious safety concerns to just bizarre public behavior, they offer a different kind of glimpse into society, don't they? The need for ongoing civic education, maybe. Road safety awareness.
And then there are those smaller social things, like schools banning the Edgar haircut, the one that's popular on TikTok.
Right. It's funny how those little cultural clashes pop up. Shows how trends meet rules.
And on a much more serious and kind of poignant note, we saw the news about Father Jose Maria Tejera passing away.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Significant figure.
Remembered as a defender of social causes. His farewell was at the UCA. He was described as a voice in the desert of indifference, materialism, and individualism.
A powerful description. His passing definitely marks the end of an era for many who followed his work on social justice. A strong moral voice.
Okay, looking outwards now, how is El Salvador connecting with or viewing the wider world.
The media there is definitely tracking major international stories, like former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro getting 27 years for that attempted coup.
That's huge news across Latin America for sure. And you have to think it resonates in El Salvador too. It's a stark reminder about democratic institutions, checks and balances, how fragile things can be.
Yeah, you can see why that would get attention.
And we also see ongoing reporting on migration issues, which directly affect Salvadorans. Potential changes to protections for migrants in the U.S. under Trump.
Right, that affects hundreds of thousands.
And the constant focus on the dangers, the human cost of the Darien Gap route. It's not abstract news. It's very real for many families.
And on a darker note from the U.S., the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk is also being followed closely. Yes, that story. The arrest, the investigation, his widow vowing to continue his work. It's making international headlines.
So to wrap things up, sometimes we come across these surprising little nuggets in the news flow, things that give you a different perspective, like that story about animal reactions to death.
Oh, the hippopotamus?
Yeah. In Botswana, trying to keep her dead calf afloat for 11 hours, even fighting off crocodiles.
That was an incredible and incredibly sad story.
It really was.
But it does raise questions, doesn't it? About our understanding of the natural world, maybe emotional intelligence in other species. It's a reminder that even when we're focused on politics and economics, there's always something unexpected, something poignant happening out there. And it's a different kind of human interest, or animal interest, I suppose.
Wow. Okay, that was quite the journey through the headlines shaping El Salvador and its connections today. A real deep dive.
It certainly was. You see everything from detailed economic policies and public service challenges right through to judicial outcomes and these big global events. It really paints a picture of a nation navigating a lot of change, a lot of different forces at once.
So, thinking about all this, what does it all mean for you listening? Maybe it's just seeing all the complex layers involved in building a nation in daily life, or maybe how these decisions, whether local or global, actually ripple down and affect people on the ground.
Which really brings us to a final thought, a question for you to maybe chew on. Given everything we've touched on, the policy shifts, the economic realities, the security situation, the global context, what do you think is the single most critical challenge or perhaps the most promising opportunity facing El Salvador right at this moment?
A great question to leave you with. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive, September 10, 2025. Welcome to the New WS El Salvador SB podcast, a space for conversation and reflection where we explore current topics from El Salvador and the world together with a fluid and easy to understand intellectual curiosity. Find us for free on YouTube Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, or on your favorite platform. You can find us on PayPal. The username is in the description of this podcast. Remember, your contributions help pay the bills to provide content. We are New WS El Salvador SB. You can also find us in Spanish under the name ITCOIN El Salvador SB. Follow us and share.